Blessings, blessings. Welcome to TYNEIKA'S Talk, the Golden Nugget Hour, here live at Powered by Virginia. Y'all know on my show normally it's at 8 p.m. or 9, depending on what time we're getting started. But listen, there was something that needed to be sent out to the airways for the blessings. And there was a time here that started and I felt it, and I looked at the phone and it was 333. And so we know that the ancestors are here. We know that the higher power is definitely here. Shouts out to my brother who's also here. What up, Loud? Yeah, we in the building. Y'all know I let my guests introduce themselves, so we're gonna start with my sis.
Okay, peace everybody. So I am Divinity Divine, the cultural curator behind the SANKOFA Healing Experience. You may have seen me last Friday I was on
It was
here
last
too?
Friday.
Last Friday I was on here talking about the SANKOFA Healing Experience. It's happening September 22nd through the 24th on the Nat Turner ancestral land out in Joryville, Virginia on the Khalifa family farm. Come out for 3 days of camping to commune with your fellow African descendants, to come out and really do some healing work, to bring the community back together, to have a space where we can heal and grow together as community. And we brought a brother Buddha Eternal with me.
Respect.
He's a part of the Sankofa Healing Experience, and we're going to be talking about what he's going to be bringing to the experience today. So I'll let him introduce himself.
Blessings.
Greetings. I am Buddha Eternal. Of course, what we're going to bring to the energy of our people is that air therapy connection. So how do we use it therapeutically? By revealing how to heal. And of course, those sections that we might be missing, the midsection, we usually say high and low. Greetings to y'all on the holy day. We call it the Friday. We all know it from the brother Noble Ali, give connection to him, as well as how he gave us another way of seeing the feminine energy, more of a divine way. And so that's why even being next to divinity is like, what? We find ourselves in a movement, and so it's a constant, how we say, the organization or organize or organ. You know, these are connected to how when we thought about this corona or COVID kicking in so strong to our bodies, cancer been a number one thing about us as far as what takes us out in our melanated skin. So this would be very much a prime purpose to bring to the Nat Turner's trail the things that even for myself, I'm a part of Nat Turner's blood. So to look at even Noble Ali, the number 8, I resonate off of that number, March 8, baby. January 8 is Noble Ali's day. So a lot of our 8 number people go through life and death. So the changes beyond that is to come through and journey that time. So I know for myself, I've been several times coming on the actual land and several times laying on the land and coming back in to see the connection that is more superior when we start to see the stars and how the stars, not just our people, but the stars above us, the Milky Way, and how there's billions of galaxies versus just that one. So I'm just glad we're all here now to partake on it. And it took me a minute myself because I look for my family, like, where my family? Well, my family ain't here, you know, and I know these by the blood. However, we've been going through a lot. So to be taking yourself out of time to create space, now I can see now, because like a year before you popping up with this, sacred space was all I was talking about. So now here it is, an actual sacred space, and even my attempt was to do something here on the land. So now it's not only just I'm a part of it, I have a team that we're all a part of doing the same thing.
What we called it earlier, a tribe.
A tribe.
No, it is a tribe ship.
Tribe
She
ship.
said tribe ship. I said,
ship.
I got to get that.
Yeah. We need tribe ships. We got to build tribe ships. It's not just about the individual relationships that we have with people, but we don't have to do this alone.
That part.
So we get to do it
constantly
together in tribe ships. So
that's real. That's real. See, I gotta get where y'all at. Where y'all on?
Well, I'm on my Instagram, and I think she's on her.
I'm on Facebook. Yes, I am on Loud Seabrooks. In case y'all looking, go to Loud Seabrooks. Because I know I'm on my page. I shared on my page. But anybody else, it's Loud Seabrooks, and you'll see the show. And I just wanted to have people have clear understanding on how important music is, because music today we know is being used in different ways.
Yep.
And for the programming that was sent forth for our people on how to use their gifts in music is horrible right now. And they give these ones that don't mind sharing a horrible way of life, or not even their life for real. It's just like the life that they want to be shown for our people to pick up, our young men and women. The young ladies, on how they don't want to use their gift. Like I was saying, blessings to and my sisters and brothers. Shouts out to y'all again. For my born day, they took me to the 50th hip hop concert, right? Okay. But there were no women on at the show. So I'm like, I know there was like MC Light, you know, I know there was like Queen Latifah, what was her name, Miss Maya X, in the beginning, but they didn't showcase them. And I seen this. I think the women are starting to put something together, where they can. But the way the women are being portrayed today in music, and not having full understanding of themselves, to give forth to the next generation, like the right thing to show. Like you don't have to show was it twerking?
Form of a dance,
well, I mean,
it is a form of a dance.
It is, there's roots in there.
Yes, it is. I've seen it.
However.
and also, okay, what intention are you moving?
Yeah.
Correct. It's the intentions of everything that's very important. Yeah. So, but I want, because like I told you last time on the last show, I am a rhythm dancer.
Okay.
And we were speaking earlier about how important the names are, and you were explaining to me how with my sons having the 5 letters in their names, and that meant just me doing things not knowing of myself today. That shows me a lot. I was just in the bathroom giving thanks on just my position.
Yes.
And to be here today, to have this platform so that you can explain to our people how important music is, and how it's deeply enrooted in our fibers. And how it can heal us.
Absolutely.
Because when you started drumming and that 3-3-3, I was like, listen, don't play with the spirit.
Look, getting around Divinity was the reason why I feel like I can now have that platform.
Blessing.
You know what I mean? And I give thanks to that.
Give thanks.
Because you have to find yourself able to touch someone and not like sexually touch them. You know? And through our senses, she was having an actual project happening, and she was like, I'm getting ready to do some modeling and everything. And I heard you do massaging. I was like, yeah. And she was like, and you do great. So can you massage me the day before I go?
A minute ago, because you see me.
I know, I saw you over there. I was like, I was going to help her. I was like, let me know. I don't know. There's a fine line when it comes down to this massaging. Some of us taking it for tantra, and they're making tantra sexual, and that's the wrong thing. Look back at Tao. If you haven't, look at Tao and see how they're stretching. They're doing what is supposed to be done, so that if it was to become a point of a tantra level, it's really the mantras, your sounds. I know most people say talk dirty to me, but you don't really want somebody to talk dirty to you, do you?
I don't like it. No, thank you.
I'm gonna beat you up, and you're like, wait, whoa, what is this in the bed? What are you doing? I didn't say it like that. So there's a level to mantras where your vocals carry a resonance that, like the binaurals. Look at that. The binaurals that we look at from 432 on up, and how your hertz, hertz, not HURTS, but the HERTZ. How you can amplify that. Yes. You amplify that energy.
That's right.
The more you give it an intention, like she said. So whether it's dance movement, to actually your body needing to be moved a different way. So the message is the massage.
That's right.
A lot of us didn't catch on to that. Even I was in the school, and I'm learning. It was like 8 years of it. And then I had to step back because I had a marriage, I had a divorce. And they were like, oh, she. And it's like, get out of your feelings.
Right.
your son is still there. You're like, oh yeah, I gotta go. Come on, son. Your dad is not mad at your mother. You have to figure out
those healthy relationships, and that's how we do it too.
And this would happen in between it. Like for what we think might be a negative, we find a positive. It might be the instrument that was given as a gift, and it was because it was heard and exchanged through communication. So we might communicate in one way, yet we communicate in another. And this still goes back to the massage, because this is another form of we call it Reiki, to almost even to the connection of reflection. We call it reflexology. So you're learning reflexology as my hands be hitting on them. Now it's constantly what we call tapotement. So you can actually put this on the body and still hit. Not the hitting that we're talking about where you're heavy hands.
Right.
Yeah, the light taps. Come on, light taps. And now you get feathering. You can do feathering on the body. And when Reiki is what we call a rake, you're raking the energy. So you're taking off the bad, as they call it, spirit, dump it on the earth. You know, and then clap it off yourself so you won't have it attached to you when you walk out the room. So it took that level to first being in a marriage, going through that while we're just fiancé. So then we married, and then we get this drum in between us and the Christmas tree in the wall. So it's like
that part.
We were bowing down to the tree. We was like, I should be bowing down to my woman.
Okay. Now let's talk about it. Okay.
Please.
Look at it.
Let's talk about it. Okay. Because that's one of the biggest parts about the Sankofa healing experience is a part of that of tribeship is creating really healthy relationships between the masculine and the feminine, talking about our sisterhoods, and the brothers, having brothership as well, because we all need ships. It just depends, but we have to take time to nurture each part of those ships so that it creates this tribeship. And so once you create those good energy exchanges, once you are able to connect on a different frequency with people, you're able to create that tribe, and that's what we're doing at the
Can I say, but this is what just popped up. You're not hot though. It just pops up. And no, it's not like I am going towards like saying, oh, we got to always go to the Bible or whatever. But these things pop up in your head so that people can get the why that happened, why they said that in the Bible, right? So what you just said reminded me of building the ship of ark, the ark, right? And getting all of everything together, each animal, each species, and each one to be able to reproduce.
We're gonna call it creators.
Okay, so when now I'm feeling that where we as people, our people, melanated people, must build those ships, because when you see these young men outside shooting each other, and there was a young man here the other day from Portsmouth. Shouts out to Swift. He said that a young lady was shot. She was pregnant, and this would be the third time I've heard that story. And how do you shoot towards someone that you know what I'm saying, that just to look at a sister and not care, but you just see hate and shoot towards.
Okay, so this is why we talk about the Noah.
Okay.
The nose is also the Noah. When we say nose, like you say no, but there's so many no's that you take, right? I was just watching Barbie. I watched Barbie the movie. Right?
Okay, it shocked me for a second. That
I was like, "What are you doing there?"
But
so
you got
like,
okay.
So now Ken, if you find out in the movie, he decides to take over Barbie Land.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I just threw that in.
Don't worry, I would never watch it.
Well, but it had a point.
Okay.
And then what the women said was, well, we got to get the men to fight against each other. And so they actually fought against each other. But then it was like, hey, man, how we going to... And actually, in the version, there's kin and a bunch of kins. So kin is what? Brotherhood, you know. And so we don't see this, but it's the wordplay that's being played, right? So Ken is like, yo, we got to get these other guys out of here. And he was like, what other guys? And he was like, those other kins. And he was like, huh? So it was like, what the? Okay. Then he was like, how are we going to do it? And he's like, well, we'll use weapons. He's like, we ain't got no guns over here.
Weapons of mass destruction.
They ain't have no guns. So I'm like, this is Barbie land. There ain't no guns in it. So what did he say? We got rackets. We got tennis balls. We could, throw it at them and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay. this is the softer version of what's going on in our reality. And so it takes an actual village to heal a village.
It does.
And they went through music, though, throughout this. And then they all of a sudden, they were bonded up again. And then they were like, even though you got to skip past the little gay scene, however, another spoiler alert. It's like, oh, what are they doing?
Is this a kids movie? Barbie? What is
it? It's PG-13. It's PG-13. Well, it's PG-13.
Because what I remember, McKenna and the Barbs was for the kids. No, they took that away.
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie.
Listen. I have to wait. Finish our lesson.
Well, the lesson was
the kinship of the brothers.
Yeah, that's where they were like, okay, well, we got to get together and get back to what we were doing. And then they realized Barbie ended up taking over her land back, and they came up with a set of laws to basically stop these men from doing what they were doing. And I was like, oh, I see what's going on. But at the end of the day, they was like, it's because of the brainwashing off of each other. And they had to actually act like, oh, I don't know how to do this or that. And it was like, sure, I'll show you. This is how you do it. And so they were using their ego against themselves.
There you go, low vibration.
Just because they were acting like they didn't know. Oh, I'll help you. And it was like, oh, superhero type mode, you know. And you find out that at the end of the day, they didn't really want to get rid of them. And they didn't want them to have no laws. So they brought them into their laws. And when we look at law is land, air, and water. It's acronyms. So if we look at how the land is, we know how we can grasp what's going on in the environment. Now, with the Noah event, the ship, you know, you got this bird that got to actually now you got to learn from. Because when Noah got on the ship, right? I can go into the Bible too now. We going in there. You want to go in there? Let's go in there.
Real talk. When you know things, you know about all things.
There's the
all things.
You don't constrict your mind to just a little bit.
Thank you so
all right.
much
So they send the bird out. They say, okay, let's see if the bird come back. We know there's land over there. Bird didn't come back. Okay, I guess ain't no land over there. We're going to have to throw out another bird in another week because we got to find out what's going on. Throw another bird out. Throw the dove out. The dove come back, got the branches. Oh, we got land over there. So let's go over there and find out what's going on. So it's the idea that the body has to be intact with the spirit. And the spirit represents your spiritual self, not just spirit like on the ground, spiral energy. So that's why the gun was just like a spiral energy. It spirals out of the barrel.
Let's remember that spiral is not circular. Okay.
There we go.
We have to remember that. Spiral continues moving.
There you go.
Forward.
And they call
circular stays in this one space.
So you got cycles, right? And you got cyclic. That means like how I can make a letter S. Where you start seeing this movement, it just cut off and you didn't see it coming out of itself. Like a butterfly to the cocoon state to the butterfly.
Okay.
You know, and it was a pupa before that. So there's like major 3 stages before it becomes what it is.
Right.
So we see the sun rise, right? And then the sun is noon, and then the sun sets. So these are 3 stages. And they say just like man walked in on 4s. That's why they had to show us animals on the ship. Walked in on 4s, now standing on 2. That's a representation of manhood. Then walked out on 3. This is still a man, but he's the wise, as they say, old man, because he got now the staff or cane to walk with. Now, of course, it don't have to be a cane because now he's crippled.
Right.
So it could be a staff. Where he's more not crippled. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so now he'll know how to deal with gravity and yield to that at a certain point. This is why it became a ship on water coming into the land. We look at just like birth is voyage, maiden, they called it. A voyage maiden. So that's why we know it coming out of the woman, not a maid.
Come on.
Let's talk about it now.
Yet from Eden. From Eden. As in we're eating from Eden. So we're eating from this nature too. If we don't know how to nurture nature.
We must.
And that's where the balance comes in, right? Because like so often people are like, oh, the women have to be nurturers and the men are their providers. And then it's like, but no, there's a center for everything. We have to be able to balance it all. We have to come back to the space where we are equally responsible for the things that are happening
right
in our village, in our community, in our ships, right? So that we can continue forward.
Right.
You know, we all have a mission on this being of this plant, wherever
Right.
we are.
Yeah,
we
on
all
the
have
plant.
a mission. Well, I don't know where we at this point. I'm a little confused.
Third
Right.
dimension.
Right. We all have our purpose, right?
Absolutely.
And so being able to focus on that, that's where the balance comes in, because I can't focus on that if I'm always focusing on providing.
Now,
I can't focus on that if I'm always focusing on nurturing. I
See
got to
that?
be able to have the balance.
that's the cycle, and that's the stress that we put on ourselves, and it's called stressors after a while. You find them in your body parts, and they start to sit there for a minute.
Right.
But maybe you worn it down. You kept putting that, backpack on that one side of the shoulder that you favored the most versus the other shoulder. So now you got one side more wore down than the other, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this for how many days?" It don't matter. And then you get up out of that bed. How you get out the bed? You put your feet on the floor. So all of that weight from the feet on up to your head. Now you're done with work. You go right back and lay down, and now your feet is the last thing coming off the ground, even though you didn't massage them at all. You didn't get nobody to massage them. So it takes a point of getting the message. Your body starts telling you messages, and there's instant messengers to these messages. So
Actually, that's how it was for me with eating meat.
Major.
Yeah,
that's a major lesson.
I mean, I still, I have where I'm like a little hungry sometimes, so then therefore I'll have like some fish. I know the worst is the shrimp, but it's tasty. But I am blessings. I'm get out of that with the shrimp, because now it's really bothering my stomach. Like the next day, I'm feeling that.
Yeah, see, what you're explaining right now is like what they did in Buddha. Buddhism, they call it. Well, Buddha is like to say we are Buddhists, but yet they made it Buddhism. So they'll be like, oh, this is a schism or ism thing.
Right.
Everybody does it. And like, no, everybody does it. I don't eat the same way you eat.
Yeah.
But yet your
that
body.
may even be best for my body.
That's what I was going to say.
I
Your body
understand.
didn't tolerate it like that. And you're like, oh, I ate this pork because I sat at the table. And it's like, the body said, I don't want that no more. It's like, oh, you don't want that no more? Yeah, the instant messengers start kicking in. He's like, oh, okay, we can't eat that anymore.
Right.
And you sit at the table and your mama say, well, come on and eat. And you're like, oh, mama, I can't.
Right, that's what, at 14, I got
No,
my
thank
butt whooped from my grandmother because she was making those chitlins.
Ooh, the chitlins.
And at that time, I was being grown. And I was on the phone with one of my older sisters' dudes that was locked up.
Okay.
And this man was like, you shouldn't eat pork. So I'm like, I'm not eating. My grandma was like, you what? You gonna eat this?
Yeah. I cooked it. I paid for it.
And she beat me down like a dude. But I didn't eat. I didn't have pork after that. I didn't raise my family on pork. Stopped my husband from eating pork. Then at 40, my body was like, yeah, you're done with beef.
Yep.
That's it.
You find there's more
it.
stages to it where your gradual growth starts to kick in.
Absolutely.
And you say, okay, my body's not tolerating that anymore.
Right.
Because me, I was at 16 stopping pork. And then I had to learn again while I was in the marriage. Getting in the marriage, you say, okay, well, I can still eat whatever I want to eat. But like, no, that's not true either. I'm away from my mama, away from my daddy. I went to Job Corps. I did this. I'm hardcore. So I started eating ice cream on a comfort food base. Right? We get in trouble with the comfort food. I'll let y'all know that. I ate that ice cream, the gallon, a whole gallon, bro. What
That's
you doing?
way too much.
At one time?
What?
That's a lie, E. That's a lie.
Well,
you know,
sometimes we stress and we don't know
And no
where it's
judgment,
coming
no
from.
judgment, no judgment, no judgment.
No, we don't know where it's coming from.
That's right.
So
that's right.
we'll start to go into our food and become a comfort towards that. And you be like, well, I can eat all this, and nobody telling me I can't, And so once I did, though, my body said, yeah, you said you couldn't, huh?
Oh, but
Well, I got something for you. It's called bends, and so my body was bent. I don't know if y'all see Igor, but your body can bend into that other Igor and not know it. That from the stomach to your back, this is what's happening. You're curling. So just think of how you cooking cooking milk, and it curl. Oh, okay, you already know where I was going. So it's your heating.
Blessings.
It's the heating that is causing this bend in the body. So you'll find out that not a lot of us are tolerant. That tolerant, as they say.
Right.
What kind of tolerant is it? Lactose, right?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Lactose intolerant.
I'm gonna say cow tolerance because it was a lot of what I couldn't eat. Okay, there we go. Because of that dairy, come on, the butter, I was finding I was eating a whole bunch of stuff at that time. The
I'm
cheese.
I'm cheeseaholic though, and I'm working my way out. I put cheese on everything. But
listen, you can heal from that too.
Blessings, and I will. Blessings, I definitely will. Because it's the cheese and the sugar.
Well, you can make these in a different additive. Like your sugar could be your fruit. Your cheese can be from the actual what is it? Some type of nuts. I'm thinking cashews.
Cashew.
Yeah.
And
I
just bust down a whole bag of cashews.
Listen, it's about
Soak
the
them.
cashews.
Always on cashews.
Where is my cashews?
Soak them.
Cashews
If you can, soak them first, then do something with it. Yeah, because if you soak them,
I'll be
you
buying
can blend
planners.
it. Well, this is what I'm saying. You could blend it, right?
Yeah.
Put that with, let's say, you can either put the carrot in the way it is, or just, I would rather cook it.
Okay.
Cook a carrot, cook a potato, throw that in there. Now put some garlic in there. You just made yourself some cheese. And you're like, dang, I ain't think about that. And add some turmeric. You know what I mean? You can make your flavor out of it. I just put garlic in there to make mine.
And speaking of that, because E will be also blessing us not only with the drums, but some lovely food at the Sankofa because part of right is that we have to, duality is a thing, right? And we have to remember that like our ancestors did this and also they did this too. And so, being able to recognize that yes, our ancestors did eat meat, did eat the different foods, but and also they lived off the land and off the fruits and vegetables that they curated right there in their farms. And so being able to also bring the experience of how do you really cook from the land at this point? How do you really honor the fact of our ancestors in that space of having self-sustaining tribeships and communities, villages, where we're, keeping it within the house and we're not having to go outside to do it.
Because it's getting crazy, like, how much food is in the supermarkets
Yes. And then teaching the kids how to do it. Because we'll have an opportunity for the kids to learn how to cook, on an open grill.
And then there's also the prep. Because the prep is major for that.
Yes, that's right. Learning how to use a knife properly.
Yes. I had plenty of cutting fingers.
Okay.
Like a little chip. See how that is right
there?
there?
How to properly, I don't have time for blood. We got we got to figure this out, and I need you to be able to do. Because the one thing that I recently taught my daughter how to make was cream of wheat. She really loves cream of wheat. So
Farina. I just like calling it that.
Korean. What you call it?
Farina. I think that's a Spanish word, something like that.
She loves cream of wheat, so I recently taught her how to, make cream of wheat, just because it teaches them how to use a stove, how to, grease the, stove, the pots that they're using and things like that. So being able to do that for the kids too.
My kids like the lumps in it.
In the cream of wheat?
Yeah, because I didn't know how to make it at first. Like, so I'm just like, hey, y'all going to school. You gotta have it out. You know what I mean? And it was like, we like the lumps. So now if I don't give them lumps, like, they're like,
I'm not gonna lie. Growing up, my grandmother, she would intentionally get the lumps out, but every now and again, you just let it sit and the lumps will happen. And I did like biting into those
the lumps.
Are
good.
Y'all going to that.
I intentionally put the lumps in.
The moment you talk about that made me think of eating mashed potatoes. Like,
mashed potatoes.
I be wanting my lumps
chunky.
in my mashed
potatoes.
Yes.
That's why you gotta have them. That's from scratch too.
Yeah, that's when you know.
It's
not from a box.
Yeah, don't give me them flakes.
I don't know what that is.
What's in those flakes?
No,
it's a little shiny. What's that? What's shiny on a potato?
That's different.
We don't know what that is. It came out the factory. But definitely the importance of eating from the land, because just the other day my son called me and he said his fiance was sick, and she's nursing my boo boo. Okay, she 4 months. Hey, Nayala. And shouts out to our sisters Nova and Scott. They 3.
Okay.
All right, respect. Okay.
Yes, and so I said, well, come and get me and take me to the grocery store so I can grab some roots.
Okay.
So I grabbed some ginger root, some turmeric root, and she already had some watermelon. I grabbed some lemons, real lemons, and I put everything, because they got this lemon, that lemon. I mean, listen, get the lemons. It got seeds. Get the seeds.
Get the key limes. Matter of fact, if you can find the key limes, get the
those
key
are
limes.
good. I like key limes.
Yeah. Okay.
I can just eat those. And I blended them with some ice water, and then I put some pepper in there,
because you have to put the pepper
to activate it.
So, and then sis told me, was that you or who was that? My niece. Somebody told me to put the cayenne pepper as well. I should have put some cayenne pepper.
Yeah, that gives you
to give a little more. And to cleanse it out. So I didn't do that though.
Okay,
but next time, right?
Yeah.
But
I don't want to put too much.
Right. We'll do better next time.
You should learn something new.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I mixed everything up. It was like of course I peeled the roots because you don't want that in there. That's not tasty. So peel them.
Let's
cut
put
them
in my
up.
salad.
Listen, I was about to say I actually keep the root on mine, and I
it just depends on
are
you drinking it or you eating it. Yeah.
Right.
So I already
I don't want to strain anything already. You know what I'm saying?
That's how my daughter be. Mama, you gonna strain this? I be like, that's an extra step.
It is. That's
a whole nother step. Just take it as
go through it a couple of times.
Yeah.
No. So I just and then I blend everything up, and then I squeeze the lemon on top.
Okay.
And then I said, take it like a tequila shot.
A tequila shot.
I used to drink back in the day. So she halfway through, because I put hers in like a champagne glass, and I had mine in a shot glass. But I felt like
you was definitely a drinker.
I used to. Well, you know what's crazy? But I really wasn't until grief hit me.
Yeah.
I was
that's the comfort drink.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was just out. We go out because my husband used to own clubs and stuff like that. So of course, we have the drinks, whatever. But not like I gotta have a drink today.
Right.
But after I lost my husband and my sister and COVID hit, I was drinking every day.
Yeah.
And
it
took me to the hospital.
Ease therapy helps with grief.
Blessings.
Yeah, because there's this life and death that a lot of us have experienced. Even for myself, I bumped my head and woke up at 16, finding out I had the high blood pressure. So I could have took a death, even though it was like a temporary paralyzed moment. A lot of us catch that. So
you really hit your head?
Yeah, the back of my head. And it wasn't my first time. This is like my third time. So usually when you get hit the more times, it's like more to you can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And my 5 minutes ended up being 5 years back.
Wow.
So amnesia was what I got out of it. It could be someone's weakness at the same time as somebody else's strength. And I found my strength out of that weakness. Now, of course, it didn't gain to me till I lose my uncle. And what we say losing, passed away. When he did pass away, that was the remembrance at the 16 age that, oh yeah, that's why I did that, and that's why even for him, he was drinking. And it was over my grandmother who passed away. And so there was a lot that was going on for his life, being that he was in the military. And, military stress you out. And you're like, oh man, I'm going to drink. I'm going to take a break. Like, what are you doing taking a break? So we don't realize when we get off of work, we look for refreshments or recreational things when we should be more or less healing. That's your time for healing and your burnout moment. So when we know what burnout, there you go.
Got on you while you was out.
That's the shadow work right there.
Okay,
that's the shadow work.
Because we got to do that. If it stay on us too long, we be heavy.
That's it, and that's why it's a shadow, right? Just like glasses could be shady. You know what I mean? So learning how to lighten yourself versus feel dark within yourself. This is why the arch and the Noah. How did we see from one that we couldn't see land to now we see land? Seamen. Men became seamen, right? So it's an aspiration, inspiration. Cleopatra, she was bit on the breast, as they say, on the asp. An asp bit her on the breast. So I'm like, what is they talking about? But it's the sea with Leo. You got to see your Leo energy. And there's the Pa. Pa is Ptah energy. So Ra is the manifestation coming out. So Cleopatra, the name itself, is not just a name. It's an actual acronym, or what we call it, connection to you, a nomenclature, or appellation. So the Platonymy is the language that was taken from Cleopatra as a Greece concepts. They were breaking down the hieroglyphs from the hierotek. The hierotek, the hieroglyphs, the Demotek, the Coptic, the Demotek, then the Coptic. All of this is a part of our, we've been like seeing this broken all the way down. So even for ourselves, how do we utilize that same connection? Because we use the, right? THE. You're really saying Tahuti. you're saying Tahuti, like the hat. The hat represents het, just like hut. You wear it, right? You're in it. So the hat is a conical hat. They would have called this a dunce hat if this had no brim on it. So this is like saying the moment of learning your conical sun to now coming out that in the rings of the sun, as she was saying earlier about being in a cyclic, not just in a cycle.
That's right.
So through life and death, you see depth. You can't say, "Oh, everybody keep dying." No. That's now you're having a cycle. Then it's going to constantly be like that. How you're thinking.
That way
That's
too.
right.
So you have to find in depression. There's this pressure,
Yep.
and so finding where your pressure is, a pull and a push, and being able to do that through like Buddha, they show us yin yang. That's masculine and feminine. Finding your zen is in between that. So that's your zenith. That's your projection. That's how you constantly going to project yourself.
That's right.
You're going to be a constant. Oh shoot, a constant. Look at this thing.
Move those cards.
They don't want me to be on. That's for
card.
some reason. It's like they keep turning me off. I went to Facebook, went to Instagram, and I was like, man, they don't want my stuff up here.
That's right. We got you covered already.
So yeah,
Blessings.
needless to say, we're gonna still put this out there.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
just wanted to reiterate real quick because tonight I know I took my shades off on the last show, and blessings to what you're saying,
That's
absolutely. Didn't have much sleep last night, so
Oh, you good.
I just wanted to put those on for the people because they know how I be cool cat, cool girl.
Yeah, I know that cool cat. Yeah, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? The cat in the hat. It's the dog that knew that. But we knew not the dog ma, and that's why the shadow work is needed and its purpose. When we saw the brittle, like Leela Africa, thank you, brother Leela Africa, who passed away recently. The cow that jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such sport. When the cow jumped over the moon, the cow is the feminine. The man now seems like he's the moon, even though the feminine is, nurtured by this moon energy of learning her cycles. So when a cow is jumping over the moon, it's like an indication to say, here's this feminine outweighing the masculine, and it's on the earth, and now it's up in heaven, above even the moon. So now the moon can't touch this, like MC Hammer concept. And now the dog, like you're laughing, was laughing and pointing.
Right.
So it was like a dog star, because he's on the stage. He got the suit on. He's, he's a service. He's a servant. So this is serious. The serious dog, serious.
Right.
But we wouldn't know that because we're not looking at it as a constellational thing. Then there's the dish running away with the spoon, and then we see a knife and a fork, and they together. So we're seeing how we're like bonding with the same sex in our energies and not knowing it, that there's a mockery going on at the same time. And if it was for a woman to learn a woman, the grandmother and the mother and the daughter, the aunt, all of these connections of not just you had to be here in the family, you could have an outside family show you these things. Right. And that's what now we're knowing now, this village that we're speaking of, Sankofa and the healing and the experience. We say she as an acronym. This is why it's not something you want to say, oh, that's just for women. I ain't going to that. That's just all women. That says she. It says she festival.
Right.
Well, if you kind of really read it for the acronym,
that part,
you would comprehend something out of it.
Fundamental now.
Yeah, there's dots in between.
Yeah, Sankofa means to go fetch back yourself.
Right.
So go back and fetch yourself. You forgot something. So just like myself, going back at 16 is really the symbolic number of 7. 7 represents Buddha. 7 represents death. 8 represents the seeing the eternal, infinite of that. If not, you're seeing life and death.
That's right.
And so as the X become an 8, is really the slanted lines that had curves to it that makes it an 8. This is all basically symbolic to even Lucifer. They wanted to say an ultraviolet color. One who can now talk to the angels and show them the angles of themselves. Not just here to just, heal yourself. Now we got to reveal some things
We
that
got
we
to
ain't.
reveal some things.
And that's why you end up looking like the bad person. When you're saying, hey,
that's enough.
oh, you a bad person. I
Right,
ain't talking
right,
to that
right,
person.
right.
You over here trying to talk about me. I'm
Right.
like, no, don't take it personal.
Yeah. Listen, and that's it.
Okay.
Don't take it personal.
That's it.
Don't take it
that part
personal.
Right there.
Not to shame you. You know what I'm saying? explain what's going on so we can fix these things.
Right.
You
Our
know,
mindsets, our mindsets.
We had that situation where it wasn't like I was trying to avoid. It was just that I'd rather had set in, and you were pulling me to come to the ocean, and so I can get my healing that you know that I need. Spirit is telling you that. And so, you know, there was no, well, girl, what you mean? None of that. It was, I knew automatically.
You
that
already
was
know.
Spirit telling her.
Absolutely.
You know,
and being able to trust that that's what's happening, when,
Right.
especially when we're, once again, building these ships with our sisterhoods and our brotherhoods and our, you know, different relationships that we have. We have to be able to say, okay, when you speaking to me, I know that you're speaking to me through spirit. You know, you're speaking through me in love. Because love ain't always peaches and cream.
Right.
It's not.
You understand? You know,
Be
sometimes I gotta, like, you know.
Like, wait a minute, even from distance?
Yes, even from distance.
Unconditional.
Unconditional. I so love you.
Yep.
And it might hurt you a little bit.
Wooden
But it's,
spoon? You still getting fed now.
Okay, listen.
Yeah, okay. Where your food at? Silver, gold.
Okay, figure it out.
Platinum.
Figure it out. Figure it out. We really have to. We have to be able to be in spaces and community where we're saying, "Oh, okay, you calling me out? Let me listen."
Right.
Not, "Oh, that ain't what I'm doing." I'm, you know, now you in denial, and I'm not gonna talk to you in denial.
Yeah, like
because now you're gonna self-sabotage, and I ain't got.
That brings this up right here.
Of blessings.
Grind or starve. You know what I mean? The G with the O and the S. We know the O is original for us. As man, we should know that. The G represents how we got here with that 7. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know? So from the R to the S, R will be like the 18th. This would be the 19th. So we're going back into it again with the S. Symbolically, we can learn these from numerology. That's why the Chaldean language and the Hebrew text shows us that there's different ways that we didn't write words down. We saw the letters in it, and it let her in when we say lettering. So when Hebrew, it was also how her. This is why this is an eyebrow, but it's a.
Come on, show the
it's
people because you're showing me.
Cause
that's how we talk.
It's the eyebrow, right?
Yeah.
And in the eyebrow, there's a unibrow. So that's how we brew ourselves.
That's right.
We brew ourselves by how we breaded ourselves. So
the unity.
Yeah, and we looked at as in, if you ate of me, you thank me. If you drink of me, you drink of me.
Right,
well, this was a written Bible concept, but it was learning about the buy and the bull of ourselves. And that meant not just the cow.
That's right.
And not just the bull.
That's right.
It's
the
both.
It's both.
See, we don't say
Balance.
just cow words. That's a cow with words. We also say bull words. And this is what makes us not see where it's forward at.
That's right.
Right.
We have to like meet to the grain. Now, I'm not saying that a lot of us can say it in the external. We might be an internal person. Then we can see that there's the people that speak on a different level. They might be introverted. Then they might be extroverted. Some of us take claim to the stronger extroverted when they ain't learn how to cultivate their introverted. So now there's the parts that you haven't really discovered of yourself, and yet you claim it on another person that they're strong, they're weak. When that makes us weak when we're talking that on them. So it's like this is the reversal that we have to learn. The OG, right, as GO. We go into it. The grind. Not just hustle ourselves. Because if not, we will starve. And there is a starving going on. I see it. Right. I don't know how many people you walk by and then give $1 to or $5 to or say, you know what, let me just give you some extra money. Because I ain't even, this is just credit for me. So
but
this is currency.
You really, you know, having a hard time.
Yeah. And there's the idea you can see that. Who's actually out there on the grind or who's just doing it as a hustle?
That's right.
Who's hustling?
Yeah.
Who hustling who at the end of the day?
Right.
Like, we got to do this on a collective for our people. And I'm not saying that whatever you're doing right now in the field that is wrong. What I'm saying is there's a left and a right. And once you learn that, it takes 3 lefts to get to one right. It takes 3 rights to get to one left. So you have to learn the sacred geometria that we all basically have: a triangle, a square, a circle. And we might talk through the square of our head to the triangle of our nose. You know, from the head, we don't think it's square. But if we were to look at it as zodiac signs, you'll find out there's more to it than this. There's the shapes of how we say cardinal is the square, mutal is fixed is the triangle, and mutal is the circle. So from Aries, I would say, is your eyes. Arise. You wake up, you arise. Well, how do you see it? By vision. You looking, your eyes are open. So how you get up, you know what I mean? So you get up, you're up now, and it's because of your nose, you're breathing in the optimistic, you know what I mean? You might still have some negative from the past yesterday, and you're like, oh man, I gotta get up, it's tomorrow, what that stuff. And now you gotta go into that, the stretching, and this part is the Gemini. So you're going from Aries to Taurus to Gemini, your arms, your ears, your neurological system. So this is based on your central nervous system. We ain't even talking about your mouth opening up yet.
That's a whole nother frequency, first of all.
And then you're going into another world.
You raise it to a whole nother level once you decide to put your throat in it.
And that throat represents Taurus. So this is the axis. This is the atlas. And where he went up? Mount Sinai. So he's going up his sinus, his sin of us if we don't see the sin. That's it. We're a descendant of ourselves. But this is from your nose as your knower. Not just a believer, a knower. So you got to either know these things now in the age of Aquarius, or you don't.
Or you don't. And that's what I want to get.
Go ahead.
Because I just wanted to get into understanding, because we had a family gathering not too long ago. Shouts out to my niece Shariah, and we gave to the ancestors. We made them a plate, and we set it out because I was somewhere. I forgot what I was doing, but a picture of my sister was there, and it fell.
There you go.
When I walked by. So I was like, okay, girl, come with me to the party.
That part.
So we went downstairs.
Yeah.
I sat on top of the refrigerator. And then that's when Shri was like, we need to give to our ancestors. Can you tell the people how important it is to give to our ancestors of understanding when we're taking in when we eat?
Well, this is, again, like how we say, I know most people use the word offering. They might even use the word worship. And there's another word, sacrifice.
Okay.
These are, I would say, don't use these words anymore.
Don't use these words.
If you could change the mindset, go into honoring.
Honor.
Because you're going to honor.
I believe that's what she said.
Which is a balancing.
That's right.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's just that I noticed that when we use the word off, like you, all right, let's just do it this way. Are you in the earth or on the earth? Let's just ask the question. Are you in the earth or on the earth?
In?
Okay, what you got?
I'm on the earth.
Okay, so when you jump,
I'm
wait. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure it out. So now you jump in the sky. Are you in the sky or are you on the sky, or in the air? I should say. You in the air or on the air?
In the air.
You're in the air.
In the air.
You're in the air. So when you land, does that mean you now back in Earth or on the Earth? See how that works?
Okay, on.
Okay, where is it?
Is it in?
No,
it's still in for me.
I'm gonna help you out in a second. I just want to make sure you're assertive with what you're saying first.
Okay.
Do you know what you know?
Yeah.
I would still be in the earth.
In the earth. What you got? You gonna say on or in?
I'm back on the earth.
Okay. Switch is on and off, right?
Right.
Yes.
Why is it not on and in? There is no off, right?
Okay.
Okay. Is the switch cutting it off, or is it just temporarily?
It's just temporarily.
So we got a word off, like offering.
Right. What we cutting off?
Okay.
Ooh.
We ain't cutting nothing off. We actually bringing it in. We are inviting them in.
Right. That's why now I changed. My signature pose used to be like this, and now it's this. I'm receiving my offering.
Now remember, when I'm saying honoring seems like it has to be the letter H.
Oh no. That's on again.
Okay. So that's the honoring.
On again.
But we didn't know that because they put an H next to it. So it's like honest versus honest. Okay.
Okay, we dropping some knowledge. Y'all better come to the She to get some of these knowledge. We're gonna have some good dialogue conversations, group circle conversations. You know,
this goodness.
Look, but this is what we'll be doing. Yeah.
Right. It's just gonna be this because we feel so comfortable and just having this beautiful high level dialogue.
We're gonna have to get that high level conversation in these levels of dimensions because we mention ourselves all the time, or we don't.
Oh, we don't.
The more we realize we're excluded in the conversation, we don't include ourselves.
Yeah.
See how I did the in in that one?
In the out.
So
Yes.
there is always an in to the out and out to an in. Yet the on is also just the reverse. No. You know her. You know a lot of things. It's just that how do we say limited to ourselves? Like we'll say, I'm sick. Or I'm hurt. Or this one is famous. I'm weak. And like, no, you're strong, brother. You're strong, sister.
I had to change my mindset on that one because you say it because you know I say it in a laughing way because I think that's really where it came from. Remembering the importance of words.
Remember and remember.
Okay,
that's constant.
Yeah, the importance of words. I don't never want to put out there that I'm weak about nothing.
Yeah,
you know?
Which goes back to the alter. Like we alter, alternate, alternative. This is a book on Buddhism. See that
it's
right
here.
Okay. Buddhism is another one-on-one you get to learn from different people who have different walks. Buddhism was not saying, oh, you got to become one. Nah, this is something that's older than a lot of the old things. And we don't look at it because we don't go as far enough back to say, okay, that's older than that. You know, so a lot of us might have taken it from the scholarly point of view and not look at the altar was just like how we, burn incense. You put incense near the altar.
That's right.
Same way when we smoke.
Smelling beautiful things.
Come on, talk about it. And then there's that beautiful aroma we call cannabis.
Okay.
And you're like, where did that come from? Well,
Can we say that again for the people in the back?
Okay, for the people in the way back.
There's the beautiful aroma plant that we call cannabis. It has a 5 to even a 7 strand or leaf that you can see from indica to sativa. Sativa is 5 and the indica is 7. So this is where you find out how do you keep your creativity. It comes from the 5. Now, why you want to go to sleep and you can't? Well, then you get your 7. And so there's a different level to how the levels of THC we're looking at. And I know from people who say, well, I don't do it, or I'm not into it, and all of these other things, yet you got a cannabinoid nerve system in your body. Now, the cannabinoid nerve system is your receptors. How do you been agitated, aggravated, you know what I mean? So it comes down from not only the 5 letter or 5 levels to it, is how you think, your interactions. This helps with your creativity side. It actually helps out with energy-wise. So there's some of us giving shame to both sides and not knowing both sides. Maybe because they never jumped on the fence. Yeah. They just got defensive with it and start using it for what we call religion. Well, religion came out and created another way of changing the spirituality.
Right.
And when we think of Buddha, we also think about the Sufis and people who knew the mystics before it became mythic.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Spirit brought me to, when I was going through my journey of not wanting any understanding of religion. I just denounced religion, period. Where I'm walking today, I go off for a higher power. I tell people all the time, whatever Spirit want me to do.
Right.
It took me to that, going to learn different things about different religions. And Buddha was, Buddhism was the one that resonated with me.
That's ironic, because that's what came to me when I actually came off the ship. I know he's like, came off the ship? Where you come from?
What ship?
No, but Germany, my dad being in the army, he got off the ship, and there was a while I was remembering, and I don't know how I remember it, because, at the age of 2, I remember that.
Right.
But I remember touching the knotty knots of a actual black Buddha. And we know Buddha as Nagas Buddha. If you look at Dragon Ball Z, they're showing you all types of Buddhas in there. So you might not see it. The Dalai Lama, he's the orange and the blue. Yeah. But he's another connection to the ashlar or ash. The ash, what they call burnt or volcanic. So he was like basically a Nagas Buddha. So
I heard my son say that.
Yeah,
because they all into it. My son's into
it. Yeah. See, you'll find a lot that it goes with the breathing, the chi. He had this, this fireball. He'll come over and he'll say, Kamehameha. And a lot of people knew that, but yet they didn't know that was the actual Empress of Hawaii.
That's her name.
Yeah, Lulilukulani Kamehameha. And you're like, oh, dang. So it was not what you think it is. Is more to it. Like they actually had Poe up there, the letter P-O. He was at a higher realm than the realm itself on Earth. But it helped navigate those people. And he had on the head wrap and everything. You think, he's like Noble Drew Ali up here. But it's like he looked like he's getting a blackface. And they blackfacing him. Yet he's actually looked like that in their older, statues of. And you find out that's Krishna. There's a lot of people now from the Hindu, what we call Sindhu people. The S-I-N-D-H-U versus S-I-N or H-I-N-D-U. Hindu is really Sindhu. So that just like cinder, it was really a darker melanated skin there that we didn't talk about, that was pushed out and rushed out of there. This is where we get the word migration from. A lot of the things that we haven't looked at was like alternative, been alternated. So that's why it is important to have a mirror. Mirror is a scriber. You use mirrors to scribe yourself, just like how you get in the mirror and you start putting the makeup on. You're making
that's
up.
what I went to G-check myself.
Yeah. And so we gotta bring it around, I think, because we're about to.
Yeah, because I would like for the people to also, get another song from you. And also, I want, just because we were speaking on cannabis real quick, can you explain to them, like you did me, as far as your copper and smoking out of the copper, how it can be more healthier?
Yes, and
just
that's why, like stuff like this, coconut cream.
Over there. That's the camera. That's our camera.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, that's our camera.
Coconut cream is another like base of copper. You're eating copper foods, bananas. You would never know, but they have copper in it. So the burrows. If you eat more on, like potassium is one way to tap in for the stretching out. But the copper is another. Magnesium, zinc, iron. Those things are deficient from us. But if you find out there's over 100 different items. That's why I went like in the Dragon Ball Z, the Vegeta. His name is Vegetable. And Piccolo, he's a pickle. But he's a cucumber. So you have to think of, don't look at what you're looking at. Look deeper into it. It might be a reason for it. Just like how I hit the drum. The drum actually changes the radiation in the room. And you'll find out that that's more pleasant because it deals with your root. The root, the sacral, and then the solar plex. So once you get up in there, you're like, oh, now I can move my hips.
Right.
So now you're actually coming into like the guy that's on Dragon Ball Z. His name is Trunks. And I was like, oh, they going hard in the paint. He got purple. He wearing blue. I said, what are they doing? They talking about his top chakra. So in order for us to get into it, like the Piccolo, it was a green. You have to have a heart, earth. Earth is heart. So the more you connect to that, you back in. You got to find your tune.
That's the color that I chose for my clothing line, Blessings. I ain't got my blessing on shirt today. Blessings to the reform, but this is my clothing line, Blessings, S.H.E. And I just learned from sis why, because I asked her, I said, why do you say S.H.E? And you said.
Yeah, I was just talking about how chanting, when it comes to chanting and using those vibrations, being able to really extend that, to bring in what you're really trying to bring in. We're not just saying thanks, but we're really, once again, honoring
the
that
frequency,
right.
and you feel it. Because when I say, it's a big difference between saying S.H.E and then S.H.E.
Yeah, you find out you can elongate your name. You can elongate your name. That's what will alter your body. It'll change your body form, to reform. To reform, the R-E is a feminine, R-A is the masculine. So when you reform, that's the four pillars with the M, like Ma. Anytime we write the M, it's like reform. We don't actually, elongate it. And what in America, we've shortened our words. So now if you can actually take your power, is to actually use your power within your sounds versus just your words.
Your breath, bring it around.
And that's where that breath comes from.
Shirt today. Let me see if y'all can see if I turn around and watch you talk to y'all.
So again, the beautiful part about Buddha Eternal, he will be at the Sankofa Healing Experience to give all of this information and more. Clearly, he has plenty to share. But being able to be in the space Yeah.
Yes.
And are you all ready?
Not a teacher.
To learn.
I'm a facilitator.
Blessings.
To learn and experience and grow in different ways and different aspects. Again, with food, with drumming, using his instrumental space and how he connects to music therapy and art therapy and flowing. So all of those things will be available at the Sankofa Healing Experience.
And I would like for you to tell the people how they can help you with anything. Like, is there anything that you can, that we can use this platform for to get help on your experience?
Yeah. So I mean, we are still looking for opportunities. Right now, there's a lot of people who say, "Hey, I want the healing," especially in our melanated community. We want the healing. We want to do it. And once again, it's in Druryville, Virginia. So it's about an hour for most people in those areas. And so we are looking for anyone who would possibly be interested in, offering carpooling,
yes.
offering the shuttle service. Give me 1 second, E.
Sure.
Offering shuttle service and things like that to make sure that we are able to meet the masses of the community, not just us, but the people who really need the work. And a lot of times when we come to a certain space in our lives, we've been doing the work, and then we forget about the people that still need to do the work. And as healers, also for those people who are out there healing others, healers need a space for healing too. To sit back and say, oh, you know what, I've been on the move and I've been healing all these people, and I actually need a moment to heal myself and be in community to do that. And so being able to be in that space where it says, hey y'all, you know you can take a moment. I got some other healers out here that's gonna step up and give you an opportunity to step back and get the healing that you also need. Because once again, we're still beings on this planet, and we are all functioning through those emotions, those feelings, and spirit is still taking us all on a journey that is not easy. So we got to be able to honor it for both of ourselves.
That's real.
And so y'all going to be teaching the children out there, and you said y'all going to be building box drums.
Yeah, so Mama Fosse's going to come. She's been drumming for over 60 plus years. She's one of the very much not founders, but really important in bringing women into African drumming. Because once again, once colonization took over, they said it was mostly men, but the djembe itself is actually a woman's drum. So we have right. We have right to drum, and so she brought that back and was able to really pioneer that. And so she's gonna create a space of drumming interactive workshop for everybody, not just the children, to learn how to drum on just simple box drums. You really don't need much. Dope. I think one video I posted, she was actually drumming on a pot. You just need something that creates sound. Right. So even if you don't do drums, you have something else, another type of instrument that you use. Bring that, because once again, look, Brother Buddha Eternal is using a flute. These are the types of there's a African instrument, I don't know the name of it, but that is very similar to a flute, and has the same sounding, and even with trumpets, there are certain African instruments that we used to use that are just like a trumpet, and having that sound. So being able to really reconnect in that space, it's really important. Like, vibration is important. So we are creating a space where we get to raise the vibration so that we can be better.
Well, like I said, I am manifesting that I make it out there at least one day, because there is something that I do, and I was doing a lot of it when I was really going through, and I didn't know my baby boy Zion was recording me. And so I would cry out, and then I would speak a language that would just come to me. And it felt so good. And I would feel like, because I asked Spirit, what is this? And Spirit said, thank you, which is always thank me for allowing it to speak through me.
Ashe.
And so I notice when I'm not meditating and where I'm supposed to be, I don't do it as much. But that's what gets me back to it. I just start doing it. And so I don't just out, and just speak it.
No, it's the G with the host. You that's what they call the Holy Ghost. The G with the host energy. So G is 1, the 7. H is the actual house to how we oust out ourselves. So you're doing a spiritual enlightenment that had to come out. So like sirens.
Yes.
In one religion they would call it Oduduwa, and then like I'll be a Oduduye, you be a Duduwa. that's expressing your spiritual side. Now, there's another name, Osenyan, that was one who was half body of the plant life and half body of the human life. And they found how to cure themselves.
Yeah.
So it was through nature. It was through being natural. It was through nurturing that we might be missing. So it changed the vibration, because the vibration is this, right? It's a diagonal up, diagonal down. But pulsation is, so you feel the pulse, like your heartbeat pumping. And that's what caused you to, like, I got to do is do 1 minute to 3 minute and 3 minute to 15. Then at 15 to 30, you're now expanding your aura, AU, with raw energy. So now you can actually, the ancestors are hearing you because you're excelling yourself, expounding yourself. They call it like expanding numbers. You're doing the same thing. So when you hear echo, E equals MC square, it's not just twice. You're hearing it 3 times. So it hits the wall, it echoes back to you, and now you're feeling what you said. And so that's why it's good to resonate when it's time for that.
Yes, and when my son said he looked it up, the closest he can get to was the sundown language or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, because the ancestors are in us. 64, what does it say? 64.4 billion years are stored in your melanin. So that's why it's called triple carbon. Not just one carbon, but triple that carbon. And when they call it black, it was melanin. So it was the melanos that was in the body that created the other side, the eumelanin and the eumelanin and the pheomelanin. So this is why we have the Moses putting his hand in and taking it back out. But this is where we also find out leprosy and the leopard and the jaguar and the cougar. How did it widespread in our cats? But these cats walked all around the world. So this is where you get your divinity from. This is where you get your Basat, your Maesh, and then you get also your Sekhmet. So these are your 3 versional cats. One is feminine black, one is masculine in the middle noon, and then Sekhmet at the end when the sun go down. So there's 3 levels to our cat energy, and we're just learning it because, like you said, there's a spiral inspiration that's coming from that, and that's where you get not just 9 lives, infinite lives.
So when I do this, I'm not sure where I heard it.
That's
from.
your 8.
A while ago.
You're doing the infinite.
This, and I feel because what I heard was your mom, your dad's, your people, everybody's. That's their DNA.
Yes.
And so when I feel some type of way and my hands starting to sweat and stuff like that, I just start rubbing my, and I feel stronger.
Well, you're creating a current. So your hands, like, movement is your current. So whether you're moving it in or out, you ever look at people that's doing Tai Chi, that's what they do. They basically, if you have a bowl in your hand, it's the same aspect to bringing it over the head. Now you're cleansing your aura. And you, like, put it back out and you shift it and you switch it around and put it to the other side of your body. You can shift your aura as the letter S, like we were talking about as S, is why it became not just a secret, but it looked like a snake. It basically looked like the Z.
Yes.
It looked like the N.
Yes.
Zion.
Blessings.
So you'll see that the names aren't just names, they're numbers, they're symbols, they're sigils. So when your hand is doing these movements, you're actually into that conjuring energy. And now, like, if you notice it more, you now to notice it versus not notice it.
Yes.
Just like the
I
word
used to
more.
just do it. Now, with learning things, that's when
I've learned why, I'm doing this. And, it's very important when you, the relationships, we're saying, and building relationships. I love you. You know I love you. We've been saying this, but let me say, and then understand this is real love, because people could have went to the store and got some flowers, something that wouldn't.
Yeah, right.
If you know me.
Are you being real?
Yeah, right. But these are the gifts that were given to me when they came.
That's right.
And so he didn't know, but feathers mean a lot to me. And there was a time when I stepped out for a second and started to promote this club. And every Friday, there was a white feather. I have them in my car. Every Friday, there was a white feather that was on the concrete by that door. Okay? And I picked it up every time and I kept it. And now, like I told you earlier, I was in a circle with a bunch of feathers. One being a black one, the other one being a little red and orange bird. And in standing in there, I was able to go in there and meditate, and I got a word from my higher self. But these mean a lot, see.
This is a citrus. Feed yourself, sis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goodness and love. That's how I
Yeah.
took that. Okay. Sis bought me a mango. She ain't even know
Listen.
that this way I haven't gotten to yet. As I said, my cousins, shouts out to my cousins in the Bronx, they would just bite into them like how you eat yours.
You gotta eat it like an apple. You just gotta eat it like an apple.
Now I'm just starting to open up my how I eat more vegetables, more fruits, and so I've been eating mango, but they be cut up already.
Okay, well.
All right, so I'm gonna get in there. But these gifts mean so much to me.
Good, thanks.
And I give thanks to y'all, and I appreciate y'all so much because we need to know how to come back to have understanding. All these people who was laughing, they laughed at me. It's okay, you know. But what you have understanding is
Give them for what they not know.
Oh yeah.
I forgive them.
Oh yeah.
I
Have a full blown
forgive them.
understanding
I
of
do.
what's really happening.
Yes, and we must pray. I tell people, when you forgive someone, pray for them. People tell me all the time, "What, girl? What you mean praying for somebody that did something to you? You better."
Listen, the best response to anything is I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
I love you.
It stops.
And that's
That's
enough.
That's enough, and that's all you got.
Yeah, that's all. Like I love you.
Because at the end of the day, people can take things way too far, and then you working off of that wrong energy. And at your festival, I know that the vibrations, and like I told you in the last show, I had spoke on this. Spirit gave me word. We must bring up the frequencies of love.
Yeah.
Because the way that things are going today,
So what's the opposite?
Gonna make it. It's hate.
Okay, so the reason why we say hate, it's applied fear.
Yes.
Because first you feared it, but then you had so much fear, it escalated to now hate it. So that's why we do have to work on the love. How do we see it? Merge. You merged into yourself. This is what Mary ended up doing. She said, "I marry you." But how did you marry me? You only merged into me because you merged into yourself first.
Yes.
So that 6 becomes 7, 7 becomes 6 plus 7. There's your 13. There's your resurrection. Why do we see 13?
13.
Yeah.
And we going to have to have a
See,
second
look.
show.
Keep going to another set.
We already over 12 minutes, okay?
We gotta go. We gotta go.
I still have to get this, but and I want sis to let the people know how to find everything so they can get to the festival. But 13 was 13 dots that was going across the sky the other night.
Wow.
And I seen them in formation.
Okay.
And I said, because everybody know me, I say, listen, Spirit gives me a witness. I
There you
say,
go. Hey, yo.
So I went inside. I grabbed my son's fiance's mom. I said, girl, I need another set of eyes. Shouts out to Karina Walker.
Respect.
Thank you so much for everything you're doing for my family. I appreciate you. But she said, wait, they're moving. I said, yeah, as we're looking at it, here comes our kids coming down the block. They pull up with the GGs is in the lawn for. We're looking up with it. They get out. They see it. Okay. So do you have any words? So because we don't want the people to be scared of ourselves.
No.
Blessings,
Right.
S.H.E.
No, the 13 is a representation of the moon cycles that we haven't looked at and faced. So a lot of our feminine and masculine, this is why it was important to learn about the Eucharist. Jesus sat with 12, not just himself. So he included himself, which is the 13. So whenever we see these 13s, there are the waking of our resurrection, seeing the symbols, seeing the sigils, as we said earlier, of how you get your confirmations. The 13 stars and the Union Jack, the 13 continents, that say colonies that they try to colonize. So 13 is 31 in reverse, but you learn that 12 to actual 13 was the switch up. 13 represents going back into the 1 again.
Come on, blessings. So listen, y'all, don't be afraid.
Nah,
okay,
never be afraid. Because fear or scared is actually sacred. The word scared. You look at the letters. It's the word sacred.
It's sacred.
So what you scared of is you just
Your own sacredness.
Your
Yeah.
own,
not a
please don't do
secret.
that.
It's just
It's not
sacred.
a secret,
sacred.
right? And I'm gonna go into a few of these things here coming up, and then I want you to show your flyer. So what we have here, sis, because I can't see that well. Okay, so I'm 50 years young. So we have Kimsville and East Coast. They're having Saturday. That's tomorrow. The 16th. September the 16th. All right, y'all. That's at 4 p.m. Let me pull up. Hampton Christian Academy, 2419 East Olmsted Avenue in Hampton. So that's going to be tomorrow. Y'all pull up on that. And then we have, this my homie, Sick Mike. I was just on the phone with him. He gave me he said, listen, girl, you used to hustle, so we going to hustle these shirts as we used to sell drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, grind, for real. Like, what do you mean? So I'm going to give you the discount. You know what I'm saying? You about to pull up with them shirts because you had a little ball going. So he has something great going on. This is his 15th annual. Yes, it's this 7 Cities Rally for Peace.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to be on the 16th, and that's going to be from 11 to sunup. Oh, they outside.
Oh, they at Can? The Can is involved? Okay.
So this is Virginia Villains. Homie has a store up there in Newport News, Jefferson Avenue. Okay, look it up, Virginia Villains. And so, yeah, he has that going on from noon to the welcoming. Oh, what they have going on?
Say 11 a.m. setup, noon, the welcoming 12:30 to 1:25.
Oh, that's
DJ
the welcoming.
Music from 1:30 to 2:20 p.m. Motivational, educational speaking. 2:30 to 4 live performances and 4 to 5 live DJ and music. Okay, that sounds like the
Okay, he got the whole line out there. That's why I was
rally
like,
for peace, and we love that.
Yeah, so yes, definitely, and he's been putting this on for 15 years. So you know what I'm saying, he knew for news. He got his whole clothing line. He helped me with blessings. He's a great guy to the community. Like he do a lot for the community. Beautiful. Blessings. And the next thing we have is this is the locking in safety, supplying for all success. Stop the violence.
Oh, nice. Free gun locks, safety demos, community resources. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's Sunday, September 17th at the Aberdeen Elementary School, 1424 Aberdeen Road in Hampton, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Free event. I'm not sure if she got the business done, but shouts out to my sister-in-law Jeanette with Hot Mama's food truck. She's supposed to be out there. Okay. And then there's another young man, I forget the name of his, but Mr. Mike, he's supposed to be having his food truck out there as well. But they're giving away free gun locks, so you need that, and they're doing demos so that y'all know how to put them on properly, so we can protect these kids and everybody that's outside. And then we have Sissy event. Yes. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to let you do your own promo. Right.
So this is the Sankofa Healing Experience, y'all. 3 days of ancestral tribute and communal rejuvenation. Have an opportunity to connect to your African descendant roots. Have an opportunity to dance with us, drum with us, laugh with us, heal with us. Okay, again, heal with us. Our community needs it. We deserve it. We need the space. We need the opportunity. We need the sacredness to be able to do things that are, once again, a little bit scary, a little bit fearful. So being able to have that space. We'll be out there September 22nd through the 24th. All right. Nat Turner Ancestral Land. So, of course, being able to honor not only the ancestors from the African continent and also those who did the work here to make sure that they fought for our freedom and our liberation. Absolutely. And being able to push forward in the Sankofa movement of going back, retaining what is of the past and bringing it forward. 3 days of camping. All right. If you got it in you, if it's pushing you to be there, I want you to be there. I know that everybody that's going to be there is in need of this healing. So we want to make sure that you come and get this healing that you need.
Yes, it's okay. You don't need a shower for 3 days. Listen, you just do your bird baths.
Yeah, you know.
Or get in the water, and how you say, sis, let the ocean water just.
You know how we do. Stop playing, y'all. Come on and camp with us. You know how we do.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on and camp. You know, don't let the physical stop you from a very spiritual awakening and an opportunity to really grow and elevate. You'll be taken care of, and just know that.
And take your shoes off, because we're gonna need you to ground.
Listen. Okay, you on ancestral land. Okay, so you don't want to have those rubber things on the bottom of your feet.
No.
Okay, for the 3 days, come and be barefoot with me. You know, come and be barefoot with me.
Not no brand new shoes.
Okay, okay, and listen to Buddha Eternal bring out all of the information, not only on food and loving us through the food that he'll be helping us serve through, but also giving us opportunities to do movement with the children, with the adults, with the brotherships that we need to, we need to create, and also get this drumming work. You know what I'm saying? Because let's raise the vibrations. Because he does something to me every time he drums.
Listen,
okay, I can't stop moving.
He just tapped it. I was, I'm like, ooh, I feel like.
but you know what I'm saying? I just want to say this, how important it is to heal. Shouts out to my sisters. My sisters and I, we weren't talking for a couple years over something. It was just ridiculous.
Yes.
But I said, you know what? We're going to heal today.
Yes.
And just so happened she was at my niece's house, and she was stuck. She got dropped off.
All right.
And so I pulled up. You know what I mean? I said,
she wasn't stuck. She was exactly where she was supposed to be.
Where
Come get
she's
this
supposed
work,
to
sis.
be. Absolutely. And then I said, niece, do you think this would be? She said, this is perfect because my niece's house is so peaceful. She's a high priestess.
Ashe.
The true ground.
Right.
True ground. And like the net. Right?
That's it.
And so like the land. And so I went right up to her and said, it's time for the heal, babe.
8.
We healing.
Look,
Nirvana.
Today.
Yeah.
We healing.
Okay.
And so on September 22nd
Through the 24th.
through the 24th, thank you, boo, we're going to be healing.
Aye,
Okay?
aye.
And we're going to be healing the land. Okay? And it's not just going to
That's
stay
it.
right there. That's not how that go. That
Nah,
energy,
nah,
how you
nah.
said it had to.
Yep.
That spiral.
You gotta keep
Get
it
that
going.
Venus going.
Okay?
Yeah.
So understand we're going to put out everything positive, the intentions of. So we're sending out all the
Optimistic.
people. Y'all come out, and then y'all hear this great music. Because
Yes.
we about to get this
Okay.
blessing.
We're going to
Okay?
get this blessing. Sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, we come back. Y'all already know. I do repeats. I need my people to come back to the show. So we have other shows, and I appreciate y'all for tapping in to TYNEIKA'S Talk, the Golden Nugget Hour. And I need you to let the people know how to find you,
Aye.
and then it's up to you, bro.
Yep. So for the Sankofa Healing Experience, you can follow us at Divine Creations 11. Creations is with a K. The number 1111.com/SHEFest. It's also Divine Creations 11 on Facebook and Instagram. Hit us up. Let us know if you need anything. If you need help with anything, if you have any questions, we're here.
And bro, can they find you? Where they finding you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok.
Come on,
Okay.
you on?
You look at ETURNAL. It's ELBEY. So Eternal Elbe. We're also doing a project, Nature Through. What am I saying? Walk through nature.
Walk through
and
nature.
you get nurtured by your nature. So if you
Yes.
look at some more projects that we're doing, just keep in mind it is a sister movement that's going on. I'm just happen to be a part of these type of sister movements, so that I was actually gifted for this naturing of hitting the drums and playing the sounds through the mouth. This where I had to go through, like we were saying, with the shadow work, losing children, passing away. We actually have to heal them as well, and that's by revealing, so we can start healing.
That's right.
Blessings. And I am revamping, coming back, bring it up, come rewind. How they say that? Shout out to my homie, Mr. Eldon Teller. So it's a matter of coming back, getting to know yourself, finding out what it is you got to learn, because in that healing, I had to go back to our childhood
Yes,
for me to be able to heal with my sisters.
absolutely.
So this is very important.
Generational curses.
Generational curses. We don't
With
need
an O,
those.
you can
Yes.
add it and now become course.
Courses, yep.
Courses. Blessings.
Changing the course.
Yep.
Changing the course
That's it.
of your
Changing
curses.
the course of your curses. That's right. That's right.
Well, here we go. We about to have this music.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Nine Bingy.
Bless.
Okay,
Thank
the
you
matriarch.
so much.
Yes.
I appreciate you. I give thanks for that. And listen, y'all, y'all have to go out and experience that, and get to sis so she can get you where you need to go for your healing experience. And y'all tap into my Facebook. That's Tynika Barnes. So y'all can go on my inbox. Order the blessings. I keep doing this. Y'all know I always wear my blessings, but it's on the day. Yeah, it's laundry day. So blessings, okay? Y'all come, you know what I'm saying? Hit me up so y'all can get y'all blessings. Do your order, and I can get you your blessings. Wear your blessings, you know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? That it's in you, on you, with you. Ashe-o.
You are.
Blessings. Thank you. I thank y'all so much. I give thanks.
Give thanks.
Remember, your mama is gave you the sound. So your language first came from your mama. Now these languages you saying, the language is That was your mama's language. So don't discredit your mama. That would be discrediting yourself. 0, then 1. Now you begin with your numbers. Ashe.
Blessings. Ashe-o. And thank you for tapping in. Ashe. Have a great day. Oh, I didn't say